Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my May 2017 TBR. So as per usual, this is my Romance Readers Reading Challenge TBR. Also just my plain May TBR. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the RRRC Challenge, as it is also called, it is a group on Goodreads, and I will post a link in the down bar below to the group if you're interested in checking it out for yourself. And every month they give you a monthly challenge, and they give you 10 different categories, and you need to find books that fit into those categories. Now, as I always like to say, these do not necessarily have to be romance novels. There have been a lot of times that I've used other books. Like, a lot of these categories are very open-ended. Sorry, I almost dropped my tablet. Are very open-ended, so you can definitely fit other things in there if romance isn't necessarily your favorite thing. So this is a really fun challenge, and I really do love doing it. So, like I said, 10 categories. Let's jump in and get started. So category number 1, M is for May. Read a book that starts with M, or a book whose author's first or last name starts with M. And in April, earlier this month, I did my author spotlight on Susan Wiggs, and I decided when I was going through my TBR on Goodreads, and I noticed that I had a book title with M, written by Susan Wiggs. I thought, I haven't read her in a while, let's read this. So the book that I'm actually going to be reading is called Miranda. And this is a standalone historical Regency romance novel by Susan Wiggs. And it is about a woman who has survived a fire. She got out of a burning building. And but she has no memory of who she is. The only thing that she has as a clue is a locket around her neck that says the name Miranda. And there are two men. There's a Scottish Highlander and a lord. And both of them claim to, well, the Scottish Highlander, I think he says he's trying to protect her. And the lord is, saying that he's her betrothed, essentially. So she needs to figure out what's going on and who she is. It sounds really great, and I'm really looking forward to it. The next category is Happy Anniversary. Read a book that was published in May of any year, or read a book by a RRRC member that joined in May of any year. So I always do the member, and like I've said before, if you're not new to this channel, that I go through the list of anyone who joined in May, or whatever month we happen to be on, and I pick a book that we have in common, one that's already on my TBR. And I came across someone who had The Girls of Mischief Bay by Susan Mallery. This is the first book in the Mischief Bay series, and I have been really looking forward to reading this series. I just got the third book a month or so ago, I think it came out, maybe at the end of March. And yeah, this is essentially about 3 friends who are all at very different stages of their lives. One is married, and her husband's really not helping her out. Another one I think is single, but she's a career girl kind of idea. And it's how the 3 of them help each other going through some of these difficult situations that they're going through currently. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. Category number 3 is the Featured Author Challenge. So every month they pick a different author, and this month's author is Phillips. And I'm a really big fan of Phillips' work, so I was super excited to see this. And I decided to go with one of her older books, which is called Under the Boardwalk. And you're looking at that cover and you're like, oh, that's going to be such a fun summer contemporary romance. It sort of kind of is, but it's actually romantic suspense. It's about a woman named Ari, and she has a twin sister named Zoe. And this takes place in the New Jersey summer, beaches and stuff like that. And her twin sister, ends up going missing. So she returns to town to help, I guess, find her sister. So the detective in charge of finding her sister meets her and thinks it's the sister, mistaken identity with identical twins. So now she's on the run because someone's after her who thinks, again, she's her sister. So this one should be a lot of fun. It's the first in the series. The series is called The Costa Sisters, and I think the second book is about the other sisters. So this should be a lot of fun. I mean, that cover is just adorable. So I am really looking forward to this book. Next category, May, the month of the lily of the valley flower. So essentially this one was, read a book where flowers are an important part of the story, or a book with flower or flowers or something white on the cover, or read a book where a beautiful cover conceals something unexpected. The cover in this can be the actual book cover or a person in the story who has an unexpected secret. So I went one with white flowers on the cover, and that is Blackberry Summer by RaeAnne Thayne. This is the first book in the Hopes Crossing series. I had a hard time with this category of trying to find I thought, oh, I can definitely find a book with a flower on it. But a lot of them were like in the background, and they weren't like, at least these are a little bit more, you know, prominent. So yeah, this is the story about a woman who owns a very successful little bead shop in a Colorado small town. And I guess she's involved in some sort of an accident, and the accident is forcing her to slow down. She's a single mom of a little girl, and she falls in love with the chief of police. And there's been a string of robberies in town, so that's being investigated as well. So, I mean, this is just the small town romance books that I just absolutely love. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So category number 5, May the 1st, International Workers' Day. International Workers' Day is the celebration of laborers and of the working class, and its roots are located all the way back to the 1880s. So because of that, the description of the kind of book that they're asking you to pick is, read a book where someone works with their hands, or a book which focuses on some celebration with specific food. Because I guess in Finland, this holiday is celebrated quite often with a large feast. Or it says, read a historical romance. Yeah, that's what I went with. So the book that I picked to read is called The Wrong Cowboy by Lauri Robinson. This is a Harlequin historical novel. And this is about a woman who is, I guess, a nursemaid. And she has 6 orphan children, and she's trekking across the Dakotas with them. And she decides to pose as the mail-order bride for the these orphan children's next of kin. So this one sounds like it really should be interesting. I just love Western historical romances. I just love that time period, and I'm very, very much looking forward to reading this one. Category number 6, May the 6th, International No Diet Day. This is a holiday I can get behind. As fun as it sounds, this day has a very meaningful purpose, to help people appreciate themselves for what they are and to appreciate the body that they have. So the prompt is, read a book from your favorite genre. And I just love contemporary romance, so that's what I picked. And the book I picked is The Songbirds Call by Rachael Herron. This is book number 2 in the Songbirds of Darling Bay series. This is about the middle sister, Molly. And I read the first book last year, and I absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star read for me. This one, the middle sister has now come back to town, and she's looking to reopen the cafe across from her other sister's, I think it's a tavern or a bar. And so the whole premise behind this series is that these 3 sisters used to be a country music singing group, a very famous country music singing group, when they were much younger. And then family drama happened and the band split up, or the group split up, and the sisters haven't talked in years. So I think their estranged uncle or somebody died and left this property to the sisters, so now the second sister is coming home. And, of course, the romance aspect in it is that she falls in love, of course, with the local sheriff. It's always with the local sheriff, right? But yeah, no, this series is really, really great. The writing in this series is great, and I'm really looking forward to jumping back into it. And if you guys watched one of my Friday reads recently, I was talking that NetGalley and the publishers of this book gave me the 3rd book in the series for review, which actually has already come out, but I'm hoping to get to it maybe next month in June, and I can review that one for you too as well. So that'll be great. Category number 7, May the 9th, Lost Sock Memorial Day. For all that have those unpaired socks waiting for their counterpart, this day is a memorial for all those lost socks in there who started their trip to the washing machine and never came back. Read a book where someone is searching for their counterpart, or read a book with a colorful cover, or read a book with an odd page count. So I went with a colorful cover, and the book that I picked is called Love's 9 Lives by Cara Colter. This is book 1 in the Perpetually series, and that's P-E-T in capital letters, U-A-L-L-Y series, as you can see from the cover. Don't get the glare. This is a old silhouette romance novel. These are no longer published, and which is a shame because they were really cute little books. And this is about a librarian who has a big orange tomcat, which is where the Perpetually comes in. So this whole series, I guess, focuses on people who have pets. And he is kind of a rough around the edges contractor, and of course they have a romance of sorts. These are really quick books. They're less than 200 pages, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. Category number 8, May the 13th is Frog Jumping Day. Read a book with green on the cover, or a book where nature is an important part of the story, or read a classic. So the book I actually picked is one that kind of has some nature and green on the cover, and that is Reuniting with the Cowboy by Sharon Taylor Vannatter. This is a silhouette. No, this is not a silhouette. This is a love-inspired romance novel, which means it's a Christian romance. And it's about, excuse me, a woman who's a veterinarian, excuse me, and he is a former bull rider, but they are neighbors. And he's trying to show her that he's not the same rough and tumble guy that she knew, I guess, when they were in high school. And, you know, that he's trying to help her find homes for her stray animals and things like that. So this should be a really, really adorable story, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Category number 9, May 29th, Paperclip Day. Read a book where all things work out, or a book with a secretary in it, or read a book with a jack-of-all-trades kind of person. So I went with secretary, and the book I picked is The Secretary's Secret by Michelle Celmer. This is a silhouette desire novel. Yeah, so essentially he is the boss, she is the secretary. This is the very, very old trope within contemporary romance novels that they end up having a relationship, and then she has a big secret, and I'll bet dollars to donuts that it's because the secret is that she got pregnant when they slept together. And of course they're trying to stay away from each other because of the whole boss-secretary thing. And, you know, it'll be a quick little read. Michelle Celmer's a really great author, and I really do like these books. I mean, it might sound like I'm mocking them, but I'm really not, because they are a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to this one. And last but not least, category number 10 is Reader's Choice. So essentially read any book of your choosing, and for those of you who've been following along with these all year, you know that my Crew of Hunters book had to get in here somewhere. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to fit this into any other category, but it's going here. And that is The Night is Watching by Heather Graham, book number 9 in the Crew of Hunters series. Book number 9. This one takes place in Arizona at a old theater somewhere in Arizona. And essentially what it is they end up finding a real skull, I guess maybe under the floorboards at this theater. And they call in one of the more recent Crew of Hunter team members from the last few books, who her specialty, if you will, is that she can take a skull and she can recreate what the face looked like. You know what I'm talking about? If you watch CSI, I'm sure you've seen these kind of things. So that's what she can do. So she's brought in to try and recreate to find out who this person was. And then they're finding more remains of bodies in the desert. So the story kind of goes from there. And of course, there's another FBI guy. He's not part of the Crew of Hunters. He's someone else. Maybe he's someone local. And he's going to be helping her with the investigation. So it sounds really, really good. And that cover, I have to say, is kind of uber creepy. Can you see behind? It's like actually like a skull. Yeah, this one's going to be really good, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So anyway, guys, that is my TBR for May. Outside of that, as I talked about in my last video, where I'm asking you guys to pick me a book, that will also be added to my TBR for May, along with book number 5 in the Cupid's Coffee Shop little novella series that I'm reading every month, called Cafe au Lait, which is, like I said, the 5th book in the series. So that one I will also be reading in May. So that's 12 books for the month. Some of them are Harlequins, which tend to be a little bit shorter, a little bit, let's be honest, a bit of an easier read. But they all look like they're a lot of fun, and I'm really, really super excited. This month I actually kind of had a hard time with some of the categories, but I think that makes it that much more enjoyable, that, you know, to try and hunt for that perfect book to fit into that category. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them. Also, please check below. I list all my social media, all the places you can find me on social media, in case you're interested in following me on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram, I use more than Twitter. And also, I will post a link below to the RRRC Challenge group on Goodreads, as well as links to all the books that I have talked about, so you guys can go and check them out for yourselves. And that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and take care and happy reading, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.